Well, I think the pain point is high enough that if the pain is high enough that people will do anything to solve it, and privacy is the least of their concerns when they're trying to solve a pain point. So, um, uh, privacy is way overdone as far as I can tell. I mean, it's a nice topic to talk about, but the reality is people generally don't care.
I think you have a unique viewpoint, because one of the things that we notice is the community here is very insular.
Yeah.
Right? And so when you talk to Valley folk, the idea of privacy is kind of it's become ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
We lead open, transparent lives.
Right.
You move back to kind of the Northeast, and you get a little bit of a different flavor. Because you're bi-coastal, you've got that perspective of, okay, I understand what the Valley community looks like, but I also understand what white-collar Boston...
Big Blue says for you.
Right. Yeah, well, even me, I'm big on Facebook and Twitter and blogging and photo sharing and all that stuff. So share.
Mm-hmm.
Foursquare is creepy. Mm-hmm. That's where I draw the line.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Because there are very, very few people that I want to know where I am all the time. I don't mind on Twitter if I say, hey, I'm at the Kenny Loggins concert, or hey, I don't mind doing that, but I do mind, because that's me opting to do that.
That's giving everybody the ability to keep tabs.
Right. When you do Foursquare, then it's like, oh, shit, now I've got to remember who is following me on Foursquare. So when I do this, who's going to know that where I am?
Yeah.
So that one's a little creepy. And on Foursquare, I only accept people that my inner circle, that I really, really know. I have hundreds and hundreds of Foursquare invitations that I just no.
You ignore, yeah.
No.
But let's use Facebook as an example. Sorry to cut off there. You've got a family. I see you, Mike. Pictures of your family on Facebook. You've got some very personal things. Are you accepting business contacts there?
Absolutely.
You are.
Yeah.
And so you're open in that way.
Yeah.
So it's really the question of, where am I now?
Yeah, that one, that's where it goes over the line for me.
Let me ask you, are you familiar with Glimpse?
I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
So Glimpse is an application that allows you to send either to broadcast out to a large group or to individuals your current location. And so it's a glimpse into where I am, and you can put a kind of expiry tag on it. So I'm willing to share with you my current location for the next 15 minutes. And it's real time, right? It's GPS based, and so you can literally watch me moving across the map. We've talked about, the kind of functionality whereby, again, based on location and where I'm supposed to be, the calendar will know that I am going to be 15 minutes late for my meeting. Give me the ability to share a glimpse with the meeting invitee, right?
Yeah.
So you're sitting in the restaurant and you're waiting for me. I have the ability to say to you, Don, I'm going to be, I'm here now, and you can watch me make my way to our location, but it's estimating I'm going to be 10 minutes late. Can you see that being useful functionality in terms of...
Well, sure, but only to a very select group of people.
Right.
So, whereas with Facebook... you're making new friends and you're pretty open about who you friend. With Foursquare.
Yeah, agreed.
No, it's got to be really, really close friends that you know. Right. Otherwise, I don't want them knowing where I am.
Right.
But I'm perfectly happy to go on Twitter and say I'm at the TechCrunch conference, or I'm here, or I'm there. That's fine.
Yep.
Because I'm opting to do that. But I don't want to have to remember in Foursquare. That I'm saying I'm here. Or I guess even with Foursquare, though, you're opting into checking in, right? It's just that I have to remember who's following me on Foursquare. No, that's too close.
So we just implemented a feature, and we don't know how people are going to use it, where you can do a connection with your Foursquare, and Tungle will automatically check you in based on your locations.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious to see, first, how many people are going to enable it.
Yeah.
And second, if people will like it. It took us half a day's of work to integrate, and just want to see how people are going to use that. Because for us, what's interesting for that is that, I mean, we're pushing out to Foursquare, the location, and then eventually the idea is to get also Foursquare to push in information into us. Which is possible.
Maybe I'm overly sensitive to.
No, I just don't
Foursquare.
think
No, maybe you're not.
Platform.
I don't use the Foursquare
Because I know I like Foursquare for. I'm traveling all the time, so the Foursquare will go to Twitter, and I'm on Twitter, and I see some of my friends. They're on the same flight,
Sure,
like Boston and San Francisco. I was like, oh, cool. So I'll go on the plane and find them because some of my friends are on the plane. I think, oh, that's cool.
Right.
Or I'm at a conference and people will say that they're, oh, okay, that's cool. So I kind of like that. And I just haven't gotten into the check-in thing about.
But sorry, it's the assisted check-in that we're talking about in Tungle is really targeted towards, I think, first of all, Foursquare users, right, who are avid about checking in. 2 reasons. One, they want the world to know exactly where they are and when. And again, a different mindset, right? But they're also playing up, there's the whole loyalty component behind Foursquare also, right, where brands are now starting to reward people, whether it's through mayorship or frequent visits, they're starting to reward you with loyalty points, right? And Foursquare is the way that they're keeping track. So the assisted check-in is really targeted towards the people who are users of Foursquare but frequently forget to check in, right? Which happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
I'm using the application, but I will frequently forget to check in, and so somebody else will take my mayorship away at Starbucks or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
So it's a little gimmicky, and like Mark is saying, whether or not people will use it, we don't know. But again, it comes back to, here's an application that really does belong in the calendar because it is event-based, right? And it is location-based.
Yeah.
Let me add to that. One of the things that I've done, and it's just kind of testing and playing with things, is I've pulled the Foursquare data string and overlaid it on my Google Calendar, right? So now you've got appointments, but you've also got location and timestamps.
Yeah.
And so you've got a little bit of an interesting visualization there. And so some of the things that we've talked about that kind of dovetail into that is, imagine a situation where you're attending a conference. It's an all-day conference, but you've got some scattered appointments in there. As an example, you've got a 10 o'clock appointment, but you show up at the conference at 10:15. You check in. One of the things that it should offer to do is say, look, you've got these 3 appointments. We know you're running late as a result of the time that you've marked that you showed up at the event. Do you want to reshuffle your calendar? Do you want to notify your contacts? These are some of the things that we're thinking about, at least, rather than, okay, I'm at McDonald's and I want my free coffee, right? So it relates much more to time and location.
So I think if I were a Foursquare user, I would want every check-in I make to automatically get onto my calendar. Because of the analytics, then I can go back and see
Foursquare
where I was.
has some really rich metadata as well. I don't know how much you use Foursquare, but you've got location, but then you can start adding tips, right? So I'm at this restaurant, you got to try out the veggie cheeseburger, right? So now you're starting to get some flavor and some color about the individual, and that metadata is really rich as well.
So automatic from Foursquare into the calendar. Cool. Love it.
Yeah. Right.
Automatic from my calendar into Foursquare.
Not so cool.
I don't
Right.
It's
not so cool.
I hear you.
Not so cool with that.
Yeah.
Right.
But automatic the other way, that'd be great. Get the API, pull it in, put it on the calendar. Then it shows up in your analytics about where you were. And I think that's pretty cool.
Right on.